Hi, this is Jill here at Jalili Studio, and we're ready for our Christmas Blizzard sew-along. Here's the Christmas Blizzard quilt, and it's such a fun quilt because it's got a true snowflake which has 6 sides, and the only way you can do that is with a hexie. And I've got the quilt designed so that we have 3 full snowflakes and a couple of partial ones, and it's just really a charming quilt. So let's get ready to get this made. I do have kits available, and the kit has all of the fabrics for the quilt top and the binding, and it also includes the template set. Let me open this up for you. So we've got these really cute reds and the stripe that is the border and the binding, and then the outside border is that cute print, snowflake print, and then it also includes the template set and the pattern. So you can still get your kits available. You'll be able to watch this video, this sew-along, anytime. It'll be on my blog and also on Instagram, and you can watch it anytime. All right, let's get started. The first thing we're going to need is those templates. So I got my templates out. These are the templates that were in that set in the kit. And then your fabric. And what we're going to cut from the fabric, from the reds. Now this is just a scrappy quilt. So we'll follow the pattern, and when it says from assorted reds, cut 20 strips, 3.5 inches wide, I would use all the various fabrics in the quilt. So if, a few from each of the different prints. There's 8 prints, so 2 of most and 3 of some of the other prints. So you need the 3 sizes. You need 3-inch, you need 2.5-inch, and 2-inch strips from the red, and from the white you need 1.5-inch strips. This is the solid white, and 3.5-inch strips. And go ahead and cut those strips. Many of you already have those strips cut, and we're ready to start sewing those together so that we can do the template cutting. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to join the 3.5-inch strips are done. We're going to cut directly from those. So I'll set those there. And then the 2.5-inch strip is going to have a 1.5-inch strip sewn onto the one side of it, so you're going to join those together and make a strip set. And then the 2-inch strips, you're going to put a 1.5-inch strip of white in between them. And I've got those already sewn, so let me grab those. So here's my strip sets. This is the 2.5 with a 1.5-inch white, and this is the 1.5-inch white sewn with the 2-inch red on either side. Now, when I did it, I did the same print on both sides of this red, but it doesn't really matter because this is very scrappy. So just use up all those reds. And then I've pressed these seams toward the red. Okay, and we'll get started cutting. First template we're going to use is template number 1, and it's what I call in the pattern piece A. And when I cut these, I do 2 layers at a time. So I leave my strip folded like it comes off the bolt. And then you just place your template right on top with one edge against your cut edge, and then just cut along the edge of the template. And then the most important thing is to cut these little corners off, and I just pop them off with my ruler, with my cutter. So that's shape A, and you can see that the triangles are cut off, and that really helps you when you're piecing these together. Okay, so then to cut the next one, we turn the template so that it's going the other direction, and that way we don't waste any fabric. And I'll just pop off these corners. The top corner's already popped off. Turn these around, and this is how we cut piece number A. Very simple, and you need 135, so you're going to cut a variety of different reds, so you have a whole bunch of different ones. Okay, and then we'll put those over there. And then we also need some from the white. You get a lot of little triangles hanging around your cutting board. And we're going to cut from the white. I think we need 21. Let me look here. 21 of this shape, of the triangle shape. And this is called piece B, but it's only called piece B because it's white. So piece A is the red triangle, and piece B is the white triangle. And that way it keeps it straight when we get to the sewing part. Okay, white triangles too. All right, and then our strip sets is what we're going to cut the next thing from. Piece C uses template number 2. Piece C is also cut from the plain 3.5 inch red, and we just put this template the same way onto our fabric strip with the edges lined up, and just cut those, pop off the corners, and this is piece C. And it's the same thing that we've been doing with the others. That will give us a bunch of those, and we need 34 of those. And then piece D also comes from this strip, but you'll have lots of strips you're working with, but from this same size, the red, solid, different prints. And this is a half hexy shape. And this one's very simple to cut. Okay, and this is the hex angle piece number 3, the template number 3, and that's piece number D. Okay, now in order to cut them from a strip set, you'll just take your strip set and lay it with your white side towards you. And this is piece number E, or piece E, and you want this white part to be along a straight edge. So put the straight edge along the white, and in the same way as from the other strip sets, or the plain strips, we're just going to cut these pieces. And these I cut singly. I just cut one layer at a time because it's hard to line up that seam so that they come out right. So I just cut one layer at a time on these rather than folded. Pull that out of the way so you can see. Okay. And that was a good thing for me to show you. That's a mistake. This white part should not be at the tip. It should only be at the base. Okay, so on this strip set, I remember now that's why we had to make more of these, because we can only cut one direction. We can only cut that direction. So you're not going to turn your template on this one. Just keep your template straight. You'll waste this little bit of fabric here because you need that white strip to be on the base of your triangle. Okay, now I've got 2 of those. This one's garbage. Make sure you don't use that. And those are ready to go. That right there is piece E. Okay, now piece F comes from this strip set. And this one's a little different. We don't use the edge of the fabric to line it up. We're going to center the template in the middle of this. And the first one it calls for is this triangle. And I'm just going to eyeball where to put that dotted line that's on the template. See that dotted line? I'm going to center that right in the middle of this white strip. And it doesn't have to be, I wouldn't measure or worry about it, just eyeball it. And the first thing I like to do on this one is to cut along that top edge. That's so that I don't cut into the next place where I'm going to need another shape. And then I'll cut the sides off and the bottom off, and then pop off those corners, and then that is piece F right there. And that way, when I go to do the next one, my template is going to fit on there. If I had just cut first, I'd have to move my template up this way. That wastes less fabric if I'm able to just start at the top and just kind of cut away the rest of that strip, and cut off the sides, and the bottom I'm going to straighten that up. Make sure you have a nice sharp blade. Get a new blade so you're not fussing with it. And there's another one. And then from this same strip set, we also cut the diamond shape. Where did my diamond go? Here it is. Okay, so instead of laying it on it like this, like we did on the other strips, we're going to turn this so that the stripe is centered down the long way. There's not a center line. So what I do, let me move in here so you can see a little bit. If you've got it, you can kind of look at the red and see this one's too tall and this one's short. So that tells you how to center that. So those are kind of eyeballed straight in the center. And the same thing applies here. I always cut the top off first so I can remove that strip and then cut the sides. And for this quilt, really, the biggest part of making this quilt is getting the cutting done. When you've got all these cute little pieces cut, you're really more than halfway there. So that's piece G, and you need 23 of those. So this is really a fun way to cut your templates by using a strip set. That way you don't have to cut individual pieces, and it really works well. Okay, now the pattern also includes the template shapes. If you do not have a template set, which makes it really easy, you can make the quilt with just these shapes. It's a little more difficult, but what we're going to do is use our shapes and a ruler. And in using the templates, you'll do it the very same way, but you can't cut along that edge because you might cut through your template. So I just have cut these shapes out of the paper, place it where I want it to be, and then put my ruler right along it and cut. And then on this one, I think I would just eyeball cutting off those corners. You could use your ruler, but in that way you'll get the same shape. So on this shape, because we're trying to center this area, and this is not, we don't have it, it's not see-through. So I think what I would do is fold my template in half, just to mark a center line, and then I can eyeball it from there. In the same way, using a regular ruler, just place it on the template and cut. All three templates are included if you need to use that instead of the template set. If you didn't get a kit and so you don't have the template set, you can order just the template set separately, and that's sold on my website as well. All right, let me lay out the pieces that we've cut. All right, so there's the shapes that we need for the quilt. Of course, I haven't cut all of them, but this is the shape that you need. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Follow the pattern and cut the amount that you need. Get those all cut out today, and tomorrow we'll start sewing our quilt together.